Got a lot of noise going on back here.
What is that noise?
That is Manny the podcast dog. He has a apparently he's munching on something right now, and we'll take a look at him because it's probably the only time we'll get to see him.
Hey, let me solo.
Yeah, let's solo Manny. There he is, Manny the podcast dog. He's the most activity we've seen him is
happily munching on his bone.
Yes, I think now he's looking up what's left on his blanket. So anyway, if I have to get up, it's because he's wanting to get out the door. So anyway, hey, now I'm kind of confused what we're talking about tonight. I'm a little, so let's see here. Well, now you were saying that we're doing a show on the Falcon and Winter Soldier, correct?
Yes, that is
correct.
That is what we're going to do. We're going to do the Falcon and the Winter Soldier tonight.
Okay, so I'm confused. So now I'm not now. This right here, I don't understand. Falcon and a Winter. Now I'm a little confused what this has to do. What we normally talk about, and I thought to myself, okay, if this is something, why don't we do something like, I don't know, the canine and the boss-eyed cop, you know? That wouldn't be good, because why? He would probably shoot the dog. So that'd be a bad combination, right?
That would be bad.
Then this one, the squirrel and the naked soldier.
What?
Now the thing is that that'd be a bad thing, because the squirrel, you know, he likes nuts. So he'll be too busy focusing on the nuts.
No.
What?
Let's start the show. Let's just start the show. It's a Something About Something show with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope.
I'm pretty sure we're the nuts.
I think so too. That's why we shouldn't have squirrels in the studio.
Hey, Terrence, good to have you.
Terrence
gave you a face palm. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Terrence.
Hey, that's right. You might read that.
So Todd VC says, hey guys, just wanted to make sure you got the memo. I spoke to the HR department at SAS, that's something about something, and it's been recommended in order to avoid another embarrassing situation going forward, I should be referred to as Todd V.
Todd V.
Todd V.
I like that. It's kind of like a kind of Goodfellas kind of monster name.
So
I thought he was talking about this right here. That's what I thought he was talking about. HR.
I'm pretty sure that's what Terrence was referring to.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what Rob Moore was referring to with "I'm going to hurl."
So that wouldn't be a great series. That wouldn't.
But I do have a question here.
Yes.
Todd V, as he is now, shall ever be known.
Yes.
Todd V said he talked to the HR department at something about something. That's your wife, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is funny because your wife
that's
actually
pretty
does
much she
HR. That is her job.
That's right.
HR.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, she will not be here tonight running comments, so bear with us. And she usually does the audio check, so if our audio is off, just let us know, and
if one of us is really loud and the other is really quiet, let us know.
Just let us know.
We'll make some minor adjustments as the show goes on as needed.
Right. Well, I did want to mention something on a serious note before we get into a lot of our crazy things going on.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, I have currently where I'm working right now is I have a friend, a coworker, and he's been in ICU since Monday. He's a SAS Nerd member on the group. Name is Michael McCon. Jason Hamilton. He kind of
posts from time to time.
You'll see his posts from time to time, but Jason Hamilton you'll see on there also, which also is a coworker there. Apparently, he is currently in the ICU for spinal meningitis, so that's a big deal. It's been there since Monday. He's doing better, but he and his family have really been through a rough time, medically speaking, and have a large number of bills piling up. Jason Hamilton is putting together a GoFundMe that will be posting soon on the Sassner's page to help Michael and his family out through these rough times. And so anyway, no pressure or anything like that. We're just going to have it on their SAS group page. If anybody feels led to or feels like they want to do something, feel free to. We're not, like, again, we're not shilling for anything, but yes, him and McConaughey's family's having a really difficult time. And of course, he's still not out of the woods yet, of course, because spinal meningitis is serious. So, but it will be posted pretty soon on the SAS page by Mr. Jason Hamilton. Thank you, Jason, for doing that.
Yep. And Jason adds, your audio is off. I think it's because I hear you both. I think what he's saying, I think that was actually a bash on both of us.
Yeah, I was going to ban him, but he's going to post that, so never mind.
Yeah. Todd's wife is cracking up. I think that refers to being called Todd V and the HR department.
Todd V. I like that name. It's like a DJ, like a retro name.
Daryl McCarty says he's not going to be able to watch tonight. He's letting his Irish out, so I'm going to... does that mean he's going to get drunk or turn green? Or get drunk and turn green?
Or is Irish out like a euphemism?
I don't want to know.
I don't know either. Okay, well, happy.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so again,
we got some news. We want to do some nerdy news.
Do some nerdy news.
I do have a couple of things to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just really quick. So this one is a little bit of a... we don't know exactly what is going on here, but...
you mean the show or...
Yeah, well, okay. I
Anyway.
was trying to pull something up, and apparently what I tried to pull up is not what I thought it was. But for those who are interested, and I think I'm just going to mention it because it's so weird, they have decided to do a Powerpuff Girls live-action movie.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah.
I don't have more information than that, and I just thought... I was like, if people don't know about that, they need to know. People need to know about that.
So that way they can avoid it as much as possible.
Yes, exactly. There are a couple of things that I thought I would throw out really fast. We know there are a couple of things coming out this month that some people in our group are really excited about. I'm not necessarily excited about one of them, but one is that the Godzilla vs. Kong is going to release this month, and it is going to be in theaters and on HBO Max.
Yeah, okay.
And let's see, do I have the date handy? It's going to be March 31st, so the last day of the month. And there's a bit of a kerfuffle online right now as to what this movie is really all about, because the trailers make it look like it is a straight up Godzilla versus King Kong fight, but lately Godzilla has been the hero character, and it's unclear why in the trailers it looks like he's the villain and they're bringing Kong in to save everybody. So a lot of people are conjecturing that Godzilla isn't really the villain. He's only appears to be the villain. That either this is like a mind-controlled Godzilla and they have to break the mind control and then Kong and Godzilla can work together to get rid of the evil forces, or that it's going to be some kind of mecha Godzilla and eventually we have a real Godzilla show up. A little unsure.
You know Well, you know the Godzilla canon is all over the place. I mean, one minute, especially in the older Japanese movies that I used to watch as a kid, you know, he's tearing up Tokyo. He's the main villain, and then you would bring in the other monster, you know, Mothra would come in, and you know
he kind of vacillates between the two.
Yeah. So anyway, So
Todd says, I guess being king went to Kong's head. Nice. In the trailers,
Todd V.
in the trailers, it appears that Godzilla is attacking, that the people go and capture King Kong to bring him back to save them by fighting them, pitting them against each other. So it's a little unclear what that was all about, but it is coming out this month. The other thing that's coming out this month is an Amazon Prime deal on March 26th. A lot of people may not know about this one, but some people might. Image Comics, back in the mid-2000s, like when I say mid-2000s, like, I don't know, it was like 2000, after 2001 and before 2010, I think it was. There was a comic book from Image Comics called Invincible, and there is going to be a Amazon Prime cartoon that's going to come out. And I've watched the trailers. It looks really good.
Does it?
Yep, it looks really good. And the basic premise is we've got a teenage boy who is the son of a Superman archetype, you know, alien comes to Earth, has a baby with a woman. They don't know whether the son will have powers, won't have powers. Yeah. He gets powers, has to figure out how to deal with them, how to live with, you know, high school troubles, how to, you know, what it means to join a superhero team. That is all that shows up in the trailers. Terrence says, I'm excited about that one. I don't know if he's excited about Invincible or about Godzilla, because sometimes our comments are a little behind. Let us know which one you're excited about, Terrence. The big deal here is it's unclear as to whether or not it's going to go along with the comics or not. The comics had a long series, like 144 issues in the comics. So that's like, I mean, if it's one a month, that's 12 years of comic stories.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gets pretty dark in the comic stories. You know, you find out the father had been lying about really why he came to Earth, and, you know, he starts killing superheroes, and, you know, he distances himself from his son, so there's some disillusionment.
Yeah.
Invincible. Terrence is interested in Invincible. It looks really good. Rob Moore says Invincible looks interesting. It does. I'm not sure where they're going to go. I'm excited. By the way, if you didn't know, there's a character named Art. I don't know enough about the story to even know who Art is, but Art is going to be played by Mark Hamill. The voice of Mark Hamill. So they did get Mark Hamill on. I figure any show that has Mark Hamill as a voice actor is worth giving a look at.
I definitely agree with that. Yes.
Another high-end person you might know, J.K. Simmons, is going to play the father figure. Well, he's literally the father. He's not a father figure. He is the father of the boy, of the main character. If you're into The Walking Dead, this series was actually written by the same people, the same guy that wrote The Walking Dead. This is Robert Kirkman. So it's the same people, same creators, and we're gonna see this adaptation come in just about a little over a week.
Oh, okay. Man, there's a lot of stuff coming up in a week. So Terrence Jones says the trailer looks canon into the comics.
Very cool. So Terrence is familiar with this comic series. I was not familiar with this
I
comic
never
series.
heard it.
It was it was a little past, like I got into Image Comics when they first started out.
Yeah.
But this was a little later on, and it's not a character I was familiar with. Jason says Mark Hamill ? Meh. J.K. Simmons, sign me up. I like J.K. Simmons. I think he's a great actor. He's got a great voice. It's definitely a voice that is super recognizable. But so we'll see what that one looks like. I don't know if I have anything else. I mean, there's our subject of the day, which is Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know that that's huge news. I guess the last bit of news is, and if you don't know this, you're not a nerd. Tomorrow, the Snyder Cut, officially titled Zack Snyder's Justice League 4-hour movie, will
and you know
release
what's
tomorrow.
funny about that? I have looked all over social media, ING, GameSpot, different publications like Screen Rant, and the ratings are all over the place. The reviews are all over the place.
They are.
And I think what people need to understand that this is just him putting together all the things that he wanted in the film. That's how I'm going to look at it. I'm going to rate it compared to what came out. And pretty much he's just giving you the special, extra deluxe edition. And so, I mean, how are you going to look at...
You said something interesting. You said that the ratings are all over the place. The public hasn't been able to weigh in yet, like Rotten Tomatoes.
Exactly.
It's only been reviewers.
Yeah.
When you read the reviews, like was it GameSpot?
Yeah, that was
So Hardcore gave them a 3.
I know.
3.
I couldn't believe
Super
it.
bashed it. But if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it's ranking. They're getting 75%.
I know.
So that's. I don't even know where to go with that.
I don't either. And we're going to find out. Like you said, it's going to after the fans, after the viewers get a chance to watch it, then we'll see the heartbeat of the movie. Yeah. Usually, it's funny because I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes and the critics will be really bashing something, and then all the moviegoers
absolutely love it, or vice versa.
Yeah,
the critics give it a 95%, and then the audience is like giving it a 50.
Yeah, I know. It's like that.
It's hard to know what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
I wrote. I actually commented on somebody's post today, and I said, I am excited but not expectant.
Exactly. Me too.
I definitely want to see it. I think it's going to be fascinating and interesting, and I think there are going to be some great high moments, but I'm not trying to build it up into something that I think it's like. We all know it's supposed to have a big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's been publicized pretty openly. We've all seen the basic movie, the original cut, so we know the basic storyline. So none of that is going to really change.
No, I did see yesterday, because they do have the special edition Justice League, which is not the movie one and it's not the Snyder cut, and so I thought it was
somewhere in between.
I thought it was better because they had more information in it than they did before. So it'll be interesting.
Actually, this last week, I watched the ultimate cut of Batman versus Superman, which takes a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And watching that, it was so much better than the original cut.
Yeah.
Characters had better... they didn't get better backstories, but they got better motivations. It was like, why Superman's mad makes more sense. Why Batman's mad makes more sense. Why Lex Luthor's... Yeah, I read this. Todd Vesey said, will Mark Hamill bring midichlorians to Invincible? I didn't say it. Well, I said it, but it wasn't my fault. Todd V made me say it. Jason says, watch your mouth.
And this is Jason's comment, Jason Hamill comment, I'm assuming on tomorrow. Snyder cut, excited, not expectant. Well put.
Yeah,
that was your comment. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Jason. I'm glad you agree. I'm really excited about it. I really want to see it. I'm just not... I'm not going to hold out hope that it's going to fix the universe.
No, it's not.
Or that it's going to spur on further films.
It's just Zach's love letter to the fans who've been wanting this for a long time.
Yes.
So it's
that,
just watch it. Yeah.
That is a great way to put it.
That's all it is. So watch it.
And
watch
by
it.
The way,
.
Just be aware, love letters, in theory, they're great. Sometimes they're just weird.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if there's some just weird in this movie.
Well, speaking of that, we might do some weird and stupid news. Get that out of the way so we can get full-blown Falcon and Winter Soldier. What do you think about that?
That sounds good. Let's do it. It's the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
we're trying to get used to putting the weird in there because some of the news may be more weird than stupid. So we'll let you decide whether it's weird and stupid, and that way it doesn't put the burden on us. So anyway,
you can decide what's weird and what's stupid.
Exactly. Apparently, man, this is interesting. A Washington man is accused of stealing a 400-pound slide from a playground.
He stole a 400 pound slide.
Yeah.
Why did he need a slide?
He decided to mount it to his child's bunk bed in his mobile home. Exactly.
Wow. So, oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's 400 pounds?
That's what they said, 400 pounds.
Okay, well, hey, Dad, I like the new slide. I can't see my TV. Put it back up. Put the picture back up.
Dustin Allen Bushnell, 30, of Burbank, was arrested Tuesday on charges of possession of stolen property. Detective Julie Lee been investigating the report of the stolen. Actually, she was investigating reports of a stolen catalytic converters last month, and that case led her to the home of Bushnell. What do we have here?
Todd says home version of Chutes and Ladders.
Yes.
Exactly.
So apparently a catalytic converter was the reason she was looking for Mr. Bushnell, and that's when she found it. This is the slide had been taken from a playground in December, police said. The slide had been repainted and sawed off at the top and mounted to a bunk bed. Police arrived on the scene to recover the slide, and right now Bushnell is arrested and booked in Walla Walla County Jail on a charge of possessing stolen property. The investigation is still ongoing, and you're welcome.
That's so weird.
Have you ever been camping, Ricky? Have you ever gone out to the great?
I have gone camping. I have camped in cabins, and I have camped in tents.
Have you ever come across this creature right here, a black bear?
Not while camping, but back in my childhood days, we often went to the Great Smoky Mountains, and we would be driving through the national park, and there would be a black bear on the side of the road from time to time, and it was a photo opportunity.
Well, apparently in this store, it's kind of
fast.
Exactly. Apparently in this store, it's kind of almost like a public announcement. Safety announcement at the same time. It's a pretty scary story. In the wilderness, sometimes you need to watch your butt.
Yeah. I can see that.
Apparently a situation, Alaska woman camping with her brother in Chilkat Lake over the weekend, and this is in Alaska, nearly had to kiss her behind goodbye.
Oh, no. What?
Yes. Yes, the Alaskan woman said, I got in there and sat down on the toilet seat, and something just immediately bit me in the butt, Shannon Stevers told local news. She said, I jumped up and screamed. The commotion got the attention of her brother, Eric Stevens, who said he ran over to the outhouse. He said, I took the headlamp, I grabbed the lid of the toilet seat and lifted up, and he told the local station, he said, right at the level of the toilet seat, maybe an inch or two below, is a gigantic bear face looking up right at him.
How did a bear get into the latrine?
I'm waiting for some comments from Todd V out there. Anyway, yeah, so apparently, I guess what happened was the deal, of course, they ran back to the shelter, cleaned up Shannon's injuries. They were not serious, which I'm glad. They hunkered down for the night. The next morning, they found tracks leading from their campfire to the outside, but the bear itself was gone. Apparently, they said the animal may have entered below the outhouse through a downhill opening and made its way towards the seat. They said the animal had... Basically, the most brown bear sightings occur in the summer, according to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, coinciding with this. Go ahead.
Jason says that bear smells like crap, I bet.
Well, I tell you what, yes. And males, and so the black bear, anyway, They're topping around 200 pounds. But, I think the message of this story is, you never want to show your bear's butt. Bear's butt. Okay. All right.
Butt,
I'm sure Todd has a comment on there. You might look for that somewhere. Todd V, our special Florida Man correspondent. Let's see here. And this is interesting. I found this, I don't know if this is weird or stupid, but this is interesting to me. A little bit of science involved.
Todd says that'll teach her to bear her butt. There you go. There's your comment.
There you go. I was waiting for his comment. This is interesting. This is all science, and it's not science fiction. You would think it would be, but scientists have begun to lay out plans for repopulation, starting with a global sperm bank on the moon.
I've actually heard about this.
And of course,
now that's not on the moon.
No, it's not. No, I just thought you might want to see that. Anyway, this is the plan that they have on the moon. This is right here. This is I'll give you a little more information on it. In what they are calling a modern global insurance policy. We'll go back to the photo in a minute. They said mechanical engineers have proposed that humans to establish a repository of reproductive cells from about 1.7 million of Earth species, including humans. They propose the bank, or they like to call the ark, will be located beneath the moon's surface. And this is exactly, I know you can't see it on an audio podcast, but right here it shows basically looks like a base underneath the moon. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
So this is a little like the, you showed the picture of the seed bank. Is it Iceland?
Yes, this is where you freeze your seeds. So right there. So anyway,
that's weird. I get it, but at the same time I'm like, really?
Well, they said basically the statement is as our planet faces natural disasters, droughts, asteroids, and potential nuclear war, to name a few troubles. Happy thoughts. Scientists say that humans must set their sights on space travel. That kind of reminds you of a show, doesn't it?
A little bit.
And they said Earth is naturally volatile environment. Okay. Whose team, basically a gentleman by the name of Jagan Tagan, whose team and University of Arizona submitted their report titled Lunar Pits and Lava Tubes for a Modern Ark. I don't know what they mean by that. I mean, interesting at the Aerosmith conference on Saturday. So basically, coming right down to it, they are wanting to propose sending your sperm to the moon, keep it. And what I find interesting about this is what they propose to do is, this is what I find interesting. They're talking about doing cryogenics, basically. Right now, they don't have the technology. They're thinking about doing cryogenics. Like you said, right now, they are doing this in, is it Scandinavia that they're doing this? Or right now, presently, they're doing experiments right now. The Arctic Circle, Norwegian islands in the Arctic Circle. So anyway, you can sign up. But this was interesting for me is that you can sign up. But he said it's very cost effective. He said, to transport 50 samples would take 250 rocket launches. By comparison, 40 launches were required to build the International Space Station. So there you go. Okay. So cheaper to send your sperm to space than to build a National Space Station. So that's a good deal. Put that on our NASA budget.
Todd wants to know if you get a glass of orange juice after your donation. Terrence says it's Tang.
You don't want to do it before, afterwards. So.
Oh my gosh. Is that it?
That's it. You're done.
This has been the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Isn't that something? Reminds me of there's several movies like that. Like, remember James Bond, Moonraker? They were trying to build a new civilization and take out the Earth, and that's a lot of rocket launchings. I do not have my soundboard, but that's okay. That's nasty.
Goodness. Yes.
Let's get down to it, man.
So we're going to talk
Big.
Falcon and Winter Soldier today, right?
And I am so excited. I don't know if you
Coming
had a
out
chance.
Friday.
They had 2 trailers that just came out, and they had an exclusive that just came out. Check it out on YouTube, especially the exclusive video.
Yeah, the clip. It's actually a clip of one of the episodes, and it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
I was trying to explain to my wife what exactly this show is going to be, and I've had trouble figuring it out. Hey, Larry Stewart says he's watching from Georgia. Good to have you, Larry. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the show. And if it's really bad, don't let us know what you think of the show.
We're really sensitive. Yeah, we're pretty sensitive like that.
We got big shoulders. We can take it. But it is the. I was trying to explain it to my wife, and I was kind of like, so it's kind of an action thriller, espionage, odd couple, buddy cop movie show
In the MCU universe.
In the MCU universe.
That's pretty much in a very large nutshell. That's pretty much it.
I mean, what is this show?
I don't know, man.
This?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It looks good. And I think they have chemistry.
Yes.
I think they're going to have chemistry from the trailers. From the very first trailer where it looks like they're having marriage counseling, and to the very end.
I love that. Her last the counselor's last subject. Are you having a staring contest?
Oh, I know. This
It's so brilliant.
I have to. We'll just do this real quick. We'll get it out of the way. It's one of my favorites. This is the scene. If you've seen the first trailer, where before a psychiatrist, she's trying to figure out what's going on in their relationship. She puts them side by side together, okay, and so she's trying to find out. Asks Bucky, what issues do you have with Sam? And of course, there are all these situations in the trailer where they're not getting along and all this stuff. And so all suddenly you see, you see the guys doing a staring contest with each other. and finally the psychiatrist saying, what are you doing? Are you having a staring contest? And it goes on. And then it goes, and this is my favorite one. It goes on. Then finally she gets ticked and she snaps her finger and she says, she said, are you guys children? And after that, there you go. It's one of my favorite scenes.
The little smirks. They're brilliant. Jason says, Falcon and Winter Soldier make a wonderful couple. I can only imagine what their babies will look like.
That will be weird if you ask me.
That would be a little weird.
I mean, it'd be a combination of the two.
Quit it.
And so, at least I didn't show this one.
Oh no! Oh,
Okay.
Get it off the screen.
Okay.
Have you seen the other meme recently? Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's the
think so.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, but in the background, it's the Millennium Falcon and one of the Snow Stormtroopers.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty
funny.
brilliant. I was like, somebody spent some time working on that. I'm impressed. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I didn't spend time working on those, so I just threw something together like I normally do before the show.
Well,
so,
that is our show.
so
That
that's
is
our
what
show.
our show is. So
let's
who
get down
else
to
are
it.
we expecting to see in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
What's interesting, and you might have to. Now, I've heard rumors about James Rhodey.
You said something. Yeah, you said something about that in the notes, and I have not heard that.
I heard it from IGN and from Screen Rant, but
That's
again,
pretty reputable.
yeah, but sometimes they'll miss the mark. So maybe it might
Sometimes.
Maybe that might be a leak. Maybe it's something that
I think it can make sense.
Yeah.
Since Rhodey is highly tied in with the government.
Yeah.
And the government is definitely going to be a big part of this show. Whether they're the good guys or the bad guys a third antagonist, or just
Yeah.
the troublemakers. I'm not even sure how to put where the government's going to fall in on this show, but I think the government is going to play a big part of it. So bringing Rhodey in makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a big contest between Sam and Buck and the government. I think there's going to be
I
a
think so,
big.
too.
I think there's going to be ruffle feathers, no pun intended.
Nice.
Yeah, but anyhow, if you're not familiar with Sam Wilson, he's an ex-Air Force airman who performed pararescue missions, and he became a good friend of later on after the blip with Steve Rogers. Actually, it was the blip.
Before the blip.
Blip, yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
so,
before the blip, there's
for
the
the blip, because in the
there's
blip, actually, Bucky and Sam got sucked away on the blip. So
Yep. Yeah, the line on your left
yeah,
became a thing between Falcon and Cap, and then we see that come back as a reprise when the Falcon flies in on during Endgame and says on your left.
I think the first time Bucky as the Winter Soldier and Sam met, I think it was in the Winter Soldier. I think that was
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
that was kind of where that whole story line starts, and then we have Civil War. They they're not really friends, but they end up fighting alongside each other because they both take on Spider-Man together.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And I think that's where this kind of odd couple rivalry thing kind of starts.
Yeah, I can't. In the show, of course, in the movie, Steve gives the shield to Sam. A lot of us, weren't for sure whether they were going to do Bucky because Bucky has superhuman strength. So a lot of us thought maybe that might be the deal. But anyway, in the comics, both of them represented Captain America in one time or another.
Yes.
So it's not. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll ask the question.
Yeah.
Are you, as far as who should get the shield, are you Team Bucky or are you Team Falcon?
I've always been Team Bucky. That's because Bucky was always his sidekick. And even in the comics, whenever Bucky picked up the mantle after what happened to Captain America in the comics. So more of a sentimental, and the only reason I wasn't too wild about the Falcon was because he didn't have superhuman strength. But that could be the appeal of the show because, I really, Sam throughout at least in the trailer, he's really doubting his abilities if he should even have the shield in the first place.
Right.
And it seems like in some of the scenes, actually Bucky is training him with it. So, there was one scene where I'll show it right here, where Bucky actually pulled out the shield from a tree, and I guess Bucky and him, they were practicing with the shield. So, and in this scene here, Bucky was kind of well, basically Sam was saying that he didn't think he deserved the shield and he couldn't represent it, and Bucky basically said it means a lot to different people. And I think in this you'll see that the relationships between Sam and Cap and Bucky and Cap are going to be a pillar of what the show is. And I think in the sense, after a while they'll see common ground and they'll work together because they see a great danger beyond themselves. And so, but again,
you're in good company because Todd V says Bucky, Terrence Jones says Bucky. Personally, I'm Team Falcon.
Yeah.
I want to see Sam Wilson take up the Captain America mantle.
Well,
That's what I want to see.
And honestly, I think he will. I think he will.
Even though you would rather see Bucky do it, you really think the end result is going to be Falcon.
And the thing is, I love the character of the Falcon. I like Sam. I think Sam Wilson is at least played by I can't remember the actor's name, but I think he's so good at it. And I think the good thing about it is I think there'll be a deeper storyline because it'd be a lot easier.
Anthony Mackie, so you're
Yeah, it's going to be a deeper story, like for instance, Bucky, even though I think he should have the mantle of Captain America, it's easy having superhuman strength, but here is Sam Wilson who doesn't, and I think that could be a deeper story there. And I think throughout this I think Bucky is going to be a safety net for him, and I think actually Bucky in the long run, I'm thinking, is going to be supportive and help him through that transition. I don't know. That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on it. But I am Team Bucky. But again, I'm not against the Falcon getting it. I think the story can be really interesting, a really underdog story, and so that's my opinion.
I will be okay with either one of them.
Yeah.
Why don't we? Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because before we knew there was going to be a Falcon and Winter Soldier show, I told you, and I was pretty vocal on this show, that I was concerned about Anthony Mackie taking up the shield or Sebastian Stan taking up the shield, because I didn't feel like either one of them could anchor a solo movie.
We talked about that, and I totally agree. And I think this was Marvel's answer to it because they believe the same thing. And I think this is a great venue. I personally believe if this is a success and people embrace Sam and Buck, I can see them both doing a buddy movie together.
I could definitely see a buddy movie,
but not.
I could definitely see a second season.
Yes.
And that's a little bit quick comment on WandaVision.
Yeah.
I don't see there being a second season of WandaVision.
I don't. I think this was it, and I think this is going to be a catalyst to Doctor Strange. Yeah. And so I think they're done with that.
Yeah, but I think this could be a multi-season show.
Oh, I think so.
It makes sense.
I think so, and I think it's smart to have a series on Disney Plus. Eventually, they could, of course, they can bring him into several different movies that are coming up as well. So it would be
a great way to soft introduce characters that you want to bring into the MCU later.
Yeah. My question is, and I've thought about this, because, some Marvel series like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., they follow along the timeline of what happened in the movies. And so anytime something happened in the movie, somehow it reflected in S.H.I.E.L.D., either in a mention or something changing within S.H.I.E.L.D. to Hydra to whatever. And so do you think that this series, Falcon and Winter Soldier, is going to follow the same pattern of things that will happen in the movie? Or are they going to follow with that?
I think so, and I think it will be even more closely tied in with the movies.
Yeah.
I don't think... Have we talked about the Darkhold much?
I don't think so.
Okay, so WandaVision, we saw the Darkhold. I don't want to sidetrack us from Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No, go ahead.
But I think this is significant.
Yeah.
We saw the Darkhold in the WandaVision show. Well, the Darkhold, this magic book of dark magic. Terrence asks, who's the villain's going to be? And does anyone know? We will talk about that here in just a minute.
Yeah.
But let me talk about this for just a minute.
Good question, Terrence.
So there was a Darkhold in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I
remember that, yes.
Completely different.
Different, yeah.
And it had an entirely different... It didn't have exactly a different backstory, but now we have two, if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is truly canon, we have two Darkholds with slightly different canon. It's possible Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer canon.
I have a feeling of that, and I'm kind of sad about that because I really love the show. But, we all know the fight between the two directors, between the two, Feige and I can't remember I can't remember the guy's name. We were talking about his name, but apparently they did not like each other.
And the other part of this is because we know the multiverse is coming up.
Exactly.
It would be easy to just say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is part of a slightly different multiverse.
Well, and actually, if you look at it, it honestly can be. But now
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
now they did follow the line on several other things, like like on
They
Thor.
did.
They
They did.
mentioned the attack of New York. When in Captain America, when Hydra,
Yep.
when Hydra
But if they
took over
but
Shield.
if they call it
But-
multiverse,
Yeah.
if they say it's no longer canon, Coulson can be perfectly alive in Agents of Shield and perfectly dead in the MCU.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. That's a bit of a rabbit trail, but I think that's
Yeah.
an interesting idea. That I think the things that show up on Disney Plus will be more directly tied into the movies than Agents of Shield ever thought.
Oh, I
about
agree.
being.
I agree.
I don't think we will see any characters show up on a Disney Plus show that gets recast for a movie.
Yeah,
unless
exactly.
it's like, Rhodey, James Rhodes was originally a different person in the first Iron Man movie. He was Cuba Gooding Jr. in the first Iron Man movie, I believe. And then they replaced him.
No, I think it was somebody else.
Was it
the first
somebody
one?
else?
Yeah, somebody. I can't remember the guy's name.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Okay,
but anyway,
but anyway, it's not the James Rhodes we know today.
no.
And I think unless it's that kind of recasting, like they recast because that guy wasn't going to work out long term. But I don't think we'll see like I don't think we'll ever see some of those heroes and villains that showed up in Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
Like we saw a Ghost Rider in Agents of Shield.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see that
No, I don't
actor
think
come
we will
into the
either.
MCU
No.
as a Ghost Rider.
No, and I'm a big fan of Coulson. So
I am too.
Oh,
I
now
am too.
now the creators of Agent. I know we're sorry, but Agent of Shield is Josh Whedon, and then Jed
Okay.
Jed Whedon. I guess they're brothers. So,
Gotcha.
so anyway,
So Terrence asked a great question. Rob Moore says it was Terrence Howard. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I couldn't remember who it was. For some reason, I always had it in mind it was Cuba Gooding Jr. And I know it's not.
Yeah.
I know that's not his name. It's just not who I can't ever remember his name. So Terrence asked a great question. Who is the villain going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier? And what do you know about this? There's probably going to be several kind of, right?
Yeah. Now, I think the main villain in all of this now is going to be Helmut Zemo. And if you remember Helmut,
What I like calling the big bad. This is the
yes,
big
this
bad.
is the big bad. This is the big bad Helmut Zemo. Now, if you remember, he was the villain in Captain America: Civil War.
Yes.
And he was the primary villain that, what he was trying to do was break up the Avengers. And if you remember, he revealed that, that Bucky or Winter Soldier was the one who killed Tony Stark's dad. And a lot of this starts, and of course, Sokovia, apparently kind of a background. He was a former military commander in Sokovia, and he blames the Avengers for the death of his family during the events of the
Which also ties him into the Age of Ultron movie.
Exactly. Now
This character has he honestly has a pretty long history in the MCU as far
really
as
does.
go.
When I was doing research, I was really surprised, how involved he is and how much he appeared on there. And of course, in the trailer, you see that he carries his trademark purple mask.
Yes.
Now you don't see this. Of course, this is a buildup of his character when you go through Age of Ultron.
Do we have a picture of that?
I actually do. If you find it, go ahead and pop that sucker up there.
I love this look.
I know it.
I'm a big I like the fact that Marvel deviates slightly from the comic original.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I like it when they get somebody who
here
when
it
they
is.
get something that's okay.
Yeah.
That's a picture of the cow. Is there
And
not a
they
picture of it have it?
in the trailer they don't
having
show
it on?
in the now
No,
this
that's
is
not it.
in the trailer it just shows him carrying it. So
Okay.
you don't
I've
actually
seen some I guess they're promotional photos with him on.
Yeah, well here we
having it
go.
on.
There you go.
Okay.
That's it right there.
Gotcha.
So
Yes,
if you're-
I just
yeah.
think it looks really cool.
I really do
And
too.
And it's pretty comic accurate
Yeah.
with the fur collared jacket and it's comic accurate, but it looks really cinematically good. And I think that Marvel has done a great job of doing things like that with their costume designs.
Well, I think he's a great actor for it too. And
Absolutely.
And what I love about it is how he has a backstory throughout the MCU universe. I mean, MCU movie universe,
Yes.
besides the comics. So I find that really interesting.
So he's already got some motivation to hate these two guys.
Well, and also too, understand Zemo was the one who, basically was the one who controlled Bucky. He was the one who actually programmed Bucky the same, like Steve Rogers, but he put a programming within him to actually do assassinations for Hydra. So this will be interesting when Bucky meets Zemo and what's going to happen there. And I know in Wakanda, I know that they basically took Bucky and they basically wiped out all the coding that Hydra put inside of him. But do you think there's a chance somehow that Zemo could still control Bucky?
I don't know. I don't think they'll go there.
You don't think they'll go there?
I think, is that a possibility? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but that was a question I saw.
There is a storyline in the comics where, Bucky comes back and he actually takes up the mantle of Captain America for a while. And Helmut Zemo shows up and exposes to the world how bad Bucky really was in the past.
Yeah.
He exposes his history, and that causes him to have to put down the shield and not be Captain America anymore.
Yeah.
Which we've kind of gotten that story because that's what kind of started the whole Civil War movie was Bucky. That was kind of told in the Bucky movie, but it's possible that they could pull one of those. Falcon and Winter Soldier start becoming these heroes to the nation. Yeah. And then Helmut Zemo comes in and shows the world how bad Bucky was in the past.
Well, he is totally, like I said, I think, Zemo's totally fueled by the death of his family on the Sokovia. What happened there. And of course, that was Ultron. And of course, we have Scarlet Witch that came out of it and her brother. And of course, same thing happened. Same thing happened to Wanda. Wanda experienced the same thing. She lost her mother and father, and his brother was still alive at the time.
Yeah.
But
so that is kind of interesting. We have this major event that happens, and it creates a hero and a villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we've got some other bad guys that are supposed to be in this movie,
which I am not familiar with, but after doing some research, I found it really interesting.
Are we talking?
We're talking about
Flag Smasher first. Let's go Flag Smasher first.
Yeah.
So, Flag Smasher in the comics was kind of this anti-Captain hero, Captain America guy, of sorts. But what do you know about the Flag Smasher deal?
Well, this is apparently him in the comics here, and apparently, from my understanding, they are let's see here. Apparently,
Ultimatum is kind of a
terrorist
organization, kind of in the vein of
anti-nationalist, basically anti-nationalist militia. Basically, it's kind of creating a chaos global. Basically, they're against all forms of government, and so anarchist.
It's like an anarchy version of Hydra. Instead of having Nazis.
Exactly.
And now this one's going to be a little bit different because in the comics there was actually a Flag Smasher character, and then there was what's it called? Ultimatum.
Yeah, Ultimatum
is the group.
Yeah, but
in this, it sounds like Flag Smasher may be the organization.
Well, and I think they're from the trailers and reading some of the breakdown trailers, there's a lot of them that believe that actually there'll be maybe a female version of And
of the leader. The leader is going to be a female. I can't remember her name.
well, and it would be the version of Kyle Morgenta. Is that the name? Carl Morgenthau. Morgenthau.
Oh yeah, Morgenthau. Yeah.
Morgenthau. So, and of course, what's interesting here, and the reason they say that, of course, this is her mask that she has on.
Yeah.
And so, but what's interesting is they're thinking it may be involved that they may have superhuman strength, because in this scene, she has fast reflexes. She's jumping up high. She's able to break some really heavy objects in half. And in some other, as well, in some of the other trailers, there were some other flag smashers that were able to jump from a building to the ground without any type of injury. And so a lot of people are wondering, well, is this, are they superhumanly strong from the serum? Are they inhumans? Are they mutants? Is this a setup for the X-Men?
Yeah, I saw some things about that.
I mean, I don't know.
think they're going to go mutants here.
No, I don't think so. But I can see the serum, or I can see inhumans.
Yeah, and my expectation is that this flag smasher, since it appears to be more of an organization, that's going to be what they're called.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to be called Ultimatum. The flag smasher is going to be an organization led by this woman. My guess is Baron Zemo is not going to be their direct leader.
No, I don't think
but
so.
it's basically going to use them to cause some chaos without them realizing he's using them.
Oh yeah, he's going to be the kind of the puppet master behind all of this.
Absolutely,
kind of like we did was trying to, when he was breaking up the Avengers, in the Civil War. So
yep. Then we've got some other, one which I think will be super minor, super minor villain. We have George St. Pierre coming back to reprise his Winter Soldier character called Batroc. In the comics, he's Batroc the Leaper. He is a French super villain that basically can kick your rear end, literally, because he jumps and he kicks people.
So does he like throw crepes at people? Is that what he does? Or
yeah, he's just a big crepe. Oh, bum. Yeah, but George St. Pierre's a fascinating guy. He's like a legit MMA fighter, Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialist kind of guy. So he's actually a fighter, and he probably can do all of the stunts that they're having him do. But I think he's going to be super minor in the show, but he will be a villain that shows up at some point. And who else do we have as a villain?
Well, no, John Walker. Let's talk about him.
Yeah. So I want to lump John Walker in with the government.
Yes.
Is the government going to be a bad guy in the show? And I conjecture they're going to be troublemakers, whether you consider them bad guys or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So Terrence, if you're asking who the villain is, the government might be the villain at some point.
Apparently, yeah. In the film, you see, and this is the last trailer. You see the film making an announcement that we need to have, hope again, as we did with Captain America. And you see later in the trailer where there's a giant parade on a football field, and there's Captain America. Now you don't see Captain America, even though we know it's played by Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
And
he is this character, John Walker.
Yes.
And we have seen some set photos of John Walker.
Yes.
Of the face, and he's actually standing on, I think, those same stairs. So I think they introduce him in that scene.
Okay.
It sure looks like those same stairs. I don't have the set photo handy, but it looks like those same stairs, and he's standing there waving. Now, in the comics, John Walker is a pretty intimidating character.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if Captain America was kind of a jerk and a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
But really, really proud of the job he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's I think in the comic books, in the lore, it said John Walker's, he was, the government chose him to replace Steve Rogers. as
Yes.
Captain America, because Captain America, he refused to follow the U.S. military orders.
Yep. And he gets
so,
some sort of version of the super serum. So he has some
In
superhuman
the-
strength in the comics.
Yeah.
It's yet to be seen if that's what we're going to go
But
here.
in the comic books too, it's funny. He went from an anti-hero to, and later on into also being a hero in some of the
Yes.
further comics. So
Yeah.
I'm not for sure how that's going to play out in this series. If something happens where it changes John Walker, where he changes his views on what's going on with the government or not.
Yeah.
There's a comic. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh,
I was just going to show the because I think it was after Captain America came back in the comics, he became the Super Patriot. That was one of it.
Super Patriot. Another name is U.S. Agent.
Exactly. You're more familiar with U.S. Agent. Most people are.
And I bet if they're going to give him a code name, I bet they call him U.S. Agent. I bet they don't call him Super Patriot.
Oh, no.
But my hope is that he will become a hero in his own right.
Yeah.
But the set photos, he kind of looks like a big dork.
No, he looks kind of cocky. He looks like a
does look
dork. Cocky,
he does
but
look a little cocky, but he just doesn't look. He doesn't look like a hero.
he reminds me of Steve Rogers in the first Captain America, the first Avenger, where he had to go to all these USO shows in his little, Captain America,
and he
flappy.
hated it.
Yeah. And so it reminds me of that kind of shallow, propaganda. And actually that's what I think at first that's what they were really doing. He's a propaganda for the US government.
Oh, absolutely.
So
that was, and in the comics, that was absolutely what they did. Actually, in these trailers that we're talking about, there's some photos of Sam in a museum looking at the shield behind glass.
exactly.
And so, Mike, I feel like the government's going to sweep in and just take the shield away from them. Yep, there we go. Take the shield away from them, and then eventually we'll see John Walker with the shield later on. But
Yeah, this is one of the scenes where Sam is really doubting, him being Captain America, and even have the confidence to take on the shield. And so this was a really good scene, and I think it's the same scene.
So do you think John Walker's really going to be a villain, really going to be a bad guy, or do you think he's just going to be stuck in the middle of something and he's really not going to be able to handle it?
I think he's going to be more like a puppet, and I think he's going to be more like a puppet for the government. It's he's kind of like the CIA would put in a leader somewhere. Basically, they're a puppet. Now he may have superhuman strength. We haven't seen that yet in any of the trailers, so he may have the serum.
As to that's going to be a part.
Maybe not. I know in the comics he had superhuman strength. So whether they'll do that or not, or eventually he may get it later on, I don't know. But what's interesting, and I was reading a story about, because I think they were talking about Zemo. Again, this could be totally off in left field, but I was watching a breakdown from IGN, and they were talking about that Zemo, again, how he's trying to divide people, is that they think he will try to tear down Captain America's legacy. And I was reading about it, and apparently from a book, and I don't remember the book. I'm going to look it up here. Yeah, it's a comic book, and it was about how African Americans in the early 1940s, and this is a Marvel comic book, were in camps where they would basically test the serum on them, and many of them died, and only one man came out of it. And I can't remember the character's name. And then from that, they gave the serum to Steve Rogers. And so it's interesting.
They just vaguely know about this storyline.
Now they were talking about in the book, maybe that may be something that come up in the movie, because Zemo, is totally trying to tear the legacy of the government, as well as Bucky and Bucky and Sam. So they mentioned that as a possibility. I don't know. I really don't know how many people, even in Marvel, know this story. I think it was called Liberty. And so anyway, I haven't read the comic, but I'm now interested in reading it and see what it's about.
Well, and
I mean, what do you think? What do you think John Walker's role is going to be in this?
I agree with you. I definitely think he's going to be a puppet. I still hope at the end of the day, like the end of the series,
Yeah.
John Walker can come out and be a hero of his own.
Yeah.
But what I'm afraid they're going to do is put him in as a puppet,
Yeah.
send him into dangerous situations that he is inevitably not actually going to be able to handle, so that Bucky and Sam are going to have to sweep in and save his rear end. And I think that's going to do a bit of disservice to the character.
Yeah, I think so
if that's
too.
the case.
Yeah.
I would rather see him actually be able to handle his own, but eventually go, you know what, this whole government thing is stupid. I actually want to be a real hero, not just a pretend hero.
Yeah, because in the beginning, and I did see the studio photos of him. He kind of looked like that, kind of like the clown. He's the clown,
Yes.
and kind of like the whole thing and he may end up going through the same thing as Captain America, where he got fed up being a propaganda poster, and
Yes.
so he may, and I think that's I can see that storyline in this series.
I would love to see that be the case.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So,
but we know this is really going to be about Sam and Bucky.
yeah,
And I think the big deal here is going to be Sam and Bucky coming to grips with, okay, we're stuck with each other. And
exactly.
the bit in the trailers about Bucky says something, so we're partners, and Sam goes, coworkers.
And Sam says, but not a team.
But not a team. But we're not a team.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. I love that. But if you get a chance, and I'm not going to, I had some lines from it, but it's better if you just watch it. Look for, I think it's a Disney exclusive clip. And if you get a chance, go on YouTube and just type that in.
Yep.
And
it is a great clip.
It's great. And it's basically, the premise is they're arguing over what they call the big three. And I laughed so hard. I sent it to Ricky yesterday when I saw it.
I loved it.
It was so good. Yeah, go ahead.
What does he call the big three? It's
aliens,
and wizards
and robots.
Aliens and robots and wizards. Those are the big three.
And then
Bucky looks at him
says,
like,
"That's not a thing." He says, "That's not a thing." Yes, it is. And they argue back and forth on it. And finally, Buck says, "So how are you fighting now, Gandalf?" And Sam says, "How do you know Gandalf?" And Buck said, "I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out." And then Sam says, "Well, you see my point." And they still argue after that. And they have good. After seeing that, I look forward to it because I see the chemistry between the two actors.
Yes,
that spoke volumes to me. They
obviously, they definitely work well together. I'm still not convinced that either one is a great choice for a solo movie, but together I think they're brilliant.
Exactly, Terrence. Exactly.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Oh.
Now, Lamont, I'm trying to see. He said Lamont Dent says the actors out of Lodge 49 is playing. And,
I don't know what that means.
And then the question mark there. I'm not for sure. Lamont.
Lodge 49.
Yeah, let's do some.
Is that a?
The actor
there's a show called Lodge 49, and it must be one of the actors is going to be in this. I don't know who that is.
Maybe he's speaking of the Wyatt, the actor. Lamont, are you thinking about the actor Wyatt?
Wyatt Russell. Yes.
Yes.
Wyatt Russell was in
Lodge 49.
Was in Lodge 49.
Okay. Exactly. And he's playing John Walker, so there we go.
So he is John Walker, U.S. agent, or John Walker. What's the other name? Super,
Super Patriot. But again, I agree with you.
Patriot.
It's going to be U.S. agent if
they even give him a name.
If they even give him a name, yeah. So
because the MCU has been, they're not super strict on it, but they've been pretty consistent on not giving people real name, their superhero names very often.
Now, one thing we need to find out too, and remember Zemo again. Okay, it appeared in the Black Panther. Zemo, he was last seen in custody of the CIA Joint Terrorist Task Force. Remember that?
I didn't remember that until you just said that.
In the Black Panther, Zemo was in custody with the CIA. And so, remember the guy, Martin, he played in The Hobbit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hobbit, there you go. And plus Sherlock yes. But anyway, in that scene, he was in the Black Panther I think close to the end where they apprehended him. So we need to find out how he got out of the CIA, or if the CIA is involved in somehow. Or Hydra's back, or somebody's back, or
it's hard to. It's hard to.
I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it. But that's something.
It is kind of crazy.
And that just came to me, and I saw it on my notes, and I remember, he was in the Black Panther, and we're gonna have to find out, or if they give us any background on how he escaped.
It's hard.
So
it's hard to tell. There are. I was checking out the IMDb for Winter Soldier. There are still several named characters or named actors without character names yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're just going to be bit parts or if they're going to be real people. It seems unusual to me that Marvel would list somebody on IMDb that was just going to be a minor bit part and not just go ahead and put the name of the character on there.
Yeah.
Because why does it matter? Yeah. If you're going to hide their name, they must be somebody more important than they want to admit today.
I think so.
So,
Marvel.
I like checking out the IMDb because it can tell you some weird things about shows that you didn't think about.
Marvel's pretty crafty. They're pretty sneaky. I mean, they like Easter eggs. I have I'm sure an IBDM they will. Tweak some things. I mean, they know their fans are going to look everywhere for what might be coming up next, and so I think I think they'll use different any venue they can.
Absolutely. So another weird little connection between this and WandaVision, kind of. This is a weird connection. Number one, this was supposed to come out first. Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come out months before WandaVision came out. So this was what people were supposed to get their expectations built around what Marvel TV shows were going to be.
Lamont says
Kurt
Wyatt, a.k.a. Walker, is Kurt Russell's and Goldie Hawn's son.
I did not know that. That's
I did not know that.
Interesting trivia. Good call, Lamont.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So this is kind of a weird little thing. I had mentioned that part of the WandaVision story comes from West Coast Avengers 42 through 45.
Yeah.
Well, in issue 45, when the White Vision shows up, guess who the government sends to join the West Coast Avengers?
U.S. agent John Walker.
John Walker, U.S. agent.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's kind of a weird little tie-in that is like, really? You did that?
Yeah. Exactly.
But I am super excited about this. I think it's going to be a great show.
I think so too.
It is definitely going to be action-packed, and I don't think we're going to see the big question marks that everybody had when they watched the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. They were like, what am I watching? This is going to be much more straightforward Marvel high adventure kind of deal.
Yeah. And from what I understand, there are 6 episodes.
I read that as well.
And it'll be 40 to 50 minutes. and that's
Yeah.
actually what Faye
So-
said on that. Yeah,
So 25 minutes of
25
show,
minutes of
25
show.
minutes of credit.
exactly.
I did read something that they're expecting total runtime to be similar to the total runtime of WandaVision.
Really,
It's fewer episodes with longer shows. So,
that's a longer show.
well, 45 minutes.
Oh, 45 minutes. Okay.
So
'Cause
fewer
WandaVision-
episodes. WandaVisions were like 30, like they would like 23 minutes, and you were
And
into
it's
the
done.
trailer.
Okay.
You were into the credits.
I thought you said like WandaVision.
Well, total runtime.
Total one. Okay.
Total runtime is supposed to be similar to WandaVision.
Oh, the total.
So if
runtime.
you add
Okay.
up add up every single episode of WandaVision and said, okay, this is how many minutes of actual show there were.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a similar amount of time for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's split up into 6 episodes instead of 9 episodes.
Wouldn't it be awesome if they had Chuck Norris playing the U.S. agent, Walker, Texas Ranger? That'd be awesome.
John Walker, Texas
Texas
Ranger.
Ranger.
I got to make that a meme now.
You need to. I'm holding you to it, man. I'm waiting for that meme. I'm gonna hold you to it.
I think that's probably going to happen this week now.
There you go.
Get a little Chuck Norris head, paste it
I
right
know
on
it,
top
man.
of U.S.
That'd be
Agent's
awesome.
face.
Well, man. You have anything else? There's so many. I just look so forward to this. And of course, I'm going to be.
I do too.
And then, of course, tomorrow I'm going to have to have snacks and necessities throughout the day and break up 4 hours worth of.
Are you going to binge the whole thing in one sitting? Or are you going to hit pause and take like a half-hour break?
I don't know, man. And
I know my personal life. There's no way I can watch 4 hours
I'll
without
have to,
having to go do something that's going to take me an hour.
I'll have to
do.
break it up. I'll have to make it into a series for myself. 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be broken up into chapters, like chapters with like headings or something like that.
Oh,
Not sure
really?
exactly what that's going to look like. Yeah, there was a list of headings for each of the chapters of the thing.
Oh, so they might have a list where it's actually broke up and you can actually. Because that would be
don't
awesome
know-
if you could.
I don't think they're going to do that, but
Okay.
I think it's possible we may have like a title card chapter name.
Yeah.
What is it? Chapters in Zach.
Yeah, because I didn't know they were going to do chapters. So that within itself is good. You have a good stopping point there. Did they say how many chapters? Did you say that already?
I did not, because
Okay.
I haven't actually looked at this. I just heard about it. That they had released the chapter titles. There are 6 chapter titles. Part 1, Don't Count on It, Batman. Part 2, The Age of Heroes. Part 3, Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. Part 4 is Change Machine. Part 5 is All the King's Horses. And Part 6 is Something Darker. And so if those come up as title cards, those will be good places for you to
Yeah, I think
stop
so.
and come back to.
I think so.
What did
Todd-
Todd say here?
Todd V says, Michael, me, is going to doze off and have to furiously rewind when he wakes up with bedhead. And you know what?
That is me. That is absolutely
Yeah,
me.
hey, that's
Especially after this show. There's a show my wife and I, this show is kicking off tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
DC's Zack Snyder's Justice League is tomorrow. And then, well,
And that's will be HBO Max.
Tomorrow, Thursday on HBO Max. And then
and now,
Falcon and the Winter
yeah.
Soldier is Friday on Disney Plus, just to clarify. And I say Thursday and Friday because you're in a different time zone than we
Yeah, I'm
are.
getting
And
ready to
I don't
say,
know
yeah.
what today is for you.
Yes.
Today actually may be tomorrow for you
Yes.
because you don't live where we live.
No.
But Thursday is the DC is Justice League. Friday is.
Would that make him a
Winter
time
Soldier.
traveler? Since he's watching us now, does it make him a time traveler? Does it make him
He
like
is
a
ahead of
Doctor
us.
Who?
He is ahead of us.
Oh man. so he can see the future.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know either. But I look forward to
what
that.
I was about to say, Todd Vesey's comment about falling asleep. Right after I do this show, there's a show my wife and I really enjoy watching called Resident Alien. It's pretty funny. It's got quite a bit of language, if that's an issue for you, but it's pretty stinking funny. And for the life of me, I can't stay awake. I get about halfway through it, and she's like, "Stay awake." I'm like, "I'm awake.
Yeah. I know.
Just can't do it."
I know. After the show, I'm gonna watch some Rebels with my son. He hadn't seen all the Rebels, and I will fall asleep. I will fall asleep.
You go enjoy your space whales, my friend.
Dude, really? Really? I mean, I know you had to go. There you go.
I love that you made that a video. That's the best thing ever.
That's awesome. I love it.
All right, man. I think we're probably done for this show.
By the way, we will not have a show next Wednesday because I am going in Tuesday to have some surgery done. Nothing major, just some wisdom teeth and some major digging in there. And apparently I will. And you don't want to see me Wednesday night with. I mean, of course, I guess I might be better than normal. But anyhow, so I would be kind of in R&R for 3 days after that because I would be in a lot of pain. So, but we will be
meds.
Yeah, so we will be back the Wednesday after next, and
that will be our Justice League special, and we are bringing Nate back.
Nathan back. I'm so glad.
So if everything goes right, Nathan is going to join us not next week, but the week after to talk about Justice League.
And if you hadn't a chance to see Nathan, he was on our, I guess what would be last episode, and man, he was so good. And and I promised to behave this time. I was talking with Todd V, and we were talking about how I should have been nicer and not use the M word, because I really like his motto. All Star Wars is always a good Star Wars, and we already trashed that like within 15 minutes of it. And I thought, man, we're a bunch of cranky, crusty old men. We are. So this time we're going to behave ourselves. No L's, no M. No, we're not. No, we're not. But anyway, I look forward to having him. Rob Moore, hope things go well. Thank you, sir. It will go well. I thank you very much for saying that.
Todd V says ice packs first 12 hours.
I know. That's when Todd calls me, he don't have to worry about me interrupting.
Terrence says pain meds.
Yes, sir.
And Lamont says good luck. Now,
thank you,
all
sir.
I'm saying, Terrence, is if I can somehow con him into showing up, convince him we are doing a show while he's on pain meds, it could be the funniest thing we've ever done.
That could happen. I don't know. We need like a bleeper, or we need something. I'm not
that is
sure.
True. I don't
know.
It's possible we could get kicked off of Facebook if we did that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that at all.
Terrence says yes, please.
Yes, please. I think he's meaning yes, please, meaning we doped up and being on the show.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know. I don't know. So anyway,
no show next week, but we will be back the week after with our Zack Snyder's Justice League review. So you've got 2 weeks to watch it. Do it
and get started, man, because it's 4 hours. Okay,
it might take you 2
weeks. I know. So it's HBO Max for the States here. It starts tomorrow, and hopefully they won't come out and do Tom and Jerry instead.
That would be so ridiculous.
That'd be so bad.
Happened.
The reverse of last time.
I'll just tell you right now, I'm not staying up till midnight to see it first thing in the morning. No. I'll watch it sometime this weekend.
I'm not going to be in line to watch it on my TV.
No.
So.
All right, anyway. I think we need to wrap up, man.
Yes, we do. Great show. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Remember, we are on Facebook, Something About Something. Facebook. I can't, which is SAS Nerd, right? Right.
Yes.
And then, but we have a group, SAS Groups. Is it SAS Nerds Group?
Yes.
Yes.
And you can also those are both on Facebook. You also, if you would just love to hear us again, audio only, we are everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
As something about something. And if you can't find us, do we have links up on the website?
We do. We have
the podcast. So
we
if
can
you go to the somethingaboutSomething.com, you can click on the links to find the podcast if you're not able to find it.
Or you can go to www.sasnerds.com. It will direct you also to that page.
Good call.
We try to update our shows on there. It's a very small site. Still working on some stuff. But there, under the bottom, you'll see where there's some tags, some links to the different podcasts, audio podcasts, venues that we are on. So apparently we're very popular in India. I don't know why.
Yes, I know.
I don't know why. We can't get anybody to listen in the U.S., but in India, I mean,
we're amazing in India.
Yeah, we can.
Our live show, we have people watching from Ireland and from New Zealand, and then on our podcast, we got people listening from in India.
Yeah,
it is the most bizarre thing we've ever experienced in our
lives.
lives.
Which is totally is us. So,
yeah. All right, Tooth Fairy's on standby.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I think we're done. I thank you for joining. Thank you for being with us. Remember, we won't be here next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after next. Get your Justice League watching on and be safe. God bless and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching the Something About Something show.
This has been the Something About Something show with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Did you even hear me?
No, because somehow you got taken off of this. Somehow you removed
my friend Ricky Pope. Yeah, I accidentally hit the remove button instead of the thing button.